fast on that clock. It's not a mistake. Time isn't wrong. The North British Hotel was built by the North British Railway Company. It's a railway hotel for Waverley Station. And people were always rushing to get their trains. So the North British Railway Company set the clocks 3 minutes past so people would see the clocks and think, I'm really late for my train. They rush at Waverley only to find them a long time. And so, to this day, they keep it 3 minutes past as a matter of course. The matter of tradition. Hiya! Sit down, passengers, get everybody, just reiterate, just keep seated while the bus is moving, please. There will be photo opportunities on the way. Right. The North British Hotel was finished in 1902. And 2 years later after that, Waverley Station for a short time was not only the largest station in Britain, for a short time before it was surpassed by Waterloo in London, it was the largest station in the world. Unlike our Princes Street Gardens, these are originally private gardens, now open to the public, but originally when the new town was built, Princes Street did not have one shop in it. It was all residential, and the gardens were for the new town residents only, all private. Pulling up onto Princes Street, nowadays the main thoroughfare of Edinburgh. The main thoroughfare was the Royal Mile for many years. However, it is now Princes Street. On your left you have the Walter Scott Monument. Monument to Sir Walter Scott, novelist, author, playwright, advocate of law, banker. There's not a lot of pies that man did not have his fingers in. But as for his novels, he's remembered today. He was the greatest writer of the 19th century, best-selling author. Every book he brought out, sold, was a bestseller. I like to refer to him as the man who invented Scotland, because what is considered traditionally Scottish, both at home and abroad, owes more to the novels of Sir Walter Scott than any other cause. The monument is 200 feet high, there's 186 steps. If you manage to get up to the top, come back down, you're given a certificate to say that you did it. So as we continue along, we're coming up to the mound. And on your left, we have, so the chase must get there. We have the National Gallery of Scotland to the rear. That is a free gallery. Some of the most wonderful works of art in Scotland are in that gallery. I suggest you go see it. In front of it, Royal Scottish Academy, another wonderful art gallery. We're coming at the main part of Edinburgh, of Princes Street, past the Bound, and past the main part of Princes Street Gardens. Now, Princes Street Gardens are naturally following, is a natural area called hollow, cut by a glacier. At one time this was filled with water to make an artificial lake, the Nor Loch, which was the northern defence of the city of the castle and the city of Edinburgh. Edinburgh was walled on 3 sides, and they used this depression to make the Nor Loch to guard it on the north side. And there, up on the hill, that's where it is, that's what it's all about. Up on top Castle Rock, up on your left there, ladies and gentlemen, Edinburgh Castle. There's been a fortification up there since the Bronze Age. That's when the first fort was built. the Romans came and they called it Opdam Eden. The Britons followed them, they called it Cerithan. The Gaels followed them, they called it Junasian. All three names mean the same thing, the fort on the hill. When the Angles came, they overrun the place in the 10th century, and they named the town Edinburgh after King Edwin, and that's where we get Edinburgh from. It's never been unoccupied and remains to this day a British Army garrison, thereby making it the longest continuously occupied fortification in the world. The tiny building right at the top of the castle is St Margaret's Chapel, the oldest building in Edinburgh. David I, King of Scots, had that built in memory of his mother, Queen Margaret. Margaret was the Queen of Scots from 1069 to 1093, and in 1253 she was canonised as Saint Margaret. Castle has never been taken by force, it's completely unassailable. Been taken by Guel a few times, it's been taken by siege a couple of times, but never by force. Now, the street we're coming up to, on our right, is South Charlotte Street. And number 14 South Charlotte Street was born a chap who went to America, and his name was Alexander Graham Bell. He was working on a type of hearing aid when he had a better idea and invented the telephone. You might wonder why he even bothered when he's got a mobile phone shop right at the corner, but there you are. And when he invented it, he went on tour with the telephone. The press asked the Mayor of Chicago what he thought of it, and the Mayor of Chicago replied, "Mr. Bell's telephone is a marvellous invention. I can see a day coming when every city will have one." And just coming past St. John's Church, Episcopal Church on Princess Street. On your left behind that wall there is the tomb of Sir Henry Rayburn, King of Scottish Artists. The St John's Church, beautiful 19th century church, absolutely gorgeous stained glass windows and beautiful ceiling. And this is the stop for the Caledonian Hotel, the lady who wanted the Caledonian Hotel, right. On our right, the Caledonian Hotel. You've seen enough British Hotel? This is the Caledonian Hotel. Until 1965 there was a railway station, Princess Street Station, right behind there. Now the reason for this is that the North British Railway and the Caledonian Railway were fierce rivals. They were always trying to outdo each other. So you can be sure if there was going to be a North British Hotel at one end of Princess Street, there was going to be a Caledonian Hotel at the other end. Famous guests to the hotel include Laurel and Hardy, Gene Kelly and Roy Rogers and Trigger. There's actually a photograph that exists of Trigger on the steps of the hotel. On our left, St Cuthbert's Church. There's been a church there since around 800 AD. Right at the corner, this turreted building is a watchtower to prevent body snatching. Body snatching was once a great problem in Edinburgh. Slightly due to undertaken. But one thing about this detour, it will give you, afford you some wonderful views of the castle. And last bit, few people get to see. I would ask you to watch your heads as we go by with some of the trees. They'll need an area clipped. About to go past Saltaire Court. This was a hole in the ground for a lot of years before it got developed. Now, quite a nice modern building they've got there. You see the postern gate right at the back of the castle? That used to be a secret entrance in and out of the castle. And that's where James Graham of Claverhouse, Viscount Dundee, sneaked out of the castle and declared himself for the Jacobite cause. You can actually climb up to that gate. It's one of the few parts of the castle rock you can actually get up. You get a wonderful vista here off the southern flank of the castle. Most of it, as I said, apart from the part at the postern gate, cannot be climbed. You get some foolhardy souls try it every year. They get so far up and they can't get any further. So they try to come back down, they find the stone's too slippy and they can't come down either. So the fire brigade has to be called out to get them down. Right, we're on the King's Bridge. Below us is King's Stables Road, and that is where the jousting tournaments used to take place in King's Stables Road. One of many bridges in Edinburgh, as you'll soon find out. As you come back here, you'll see what I mean about the castle rock. It's been solid basalt, and that's it dry. You wouldn't want to try climb that dry. You can imagine like what it's like in rain. It just cannot be assailed. Across on our right, the red sandstone building is the Edinburgh College of Art, and that's the old man called Thomas Connery used to pose as a life model. The castellated building in the distance is a George Heriot School. J.K. Rowling used that as a model for Hogwarts. Right, we're coming up past the castle esplanade with the seating going up for this year's Edinburgh Military Tattoo. If you want a ticket for this year's tattoo, too late, they're sold out. You contact the tattoo office, you might get one for next year. The tattoo sells out almost as soon as the tickets go on sale. It's one of our biggest visitor attractions. On our left, the Castle Hill School, now home to the Scottish Whisky Experience, and right beside it, the old St John's Highland Tolbooth Church, with the tallest spire in Edinburgh. That was at one time the only church in Edinburgh to give services in Scots Gaelic. It's now home to the Edinburgh International Festival and a venue called The Hub. Now coming on to the Lord Market and the Royal Mile. This is the Royal Mile. I think it's too late for the castle now, but this is the oldest part of Edinburgh, or one of the oldest parts of Edinburgh that there is. Usually stop for the castle, the Camera Obscura, the Scottish Whisky Experience, Gladstone's Land and the Writers' Museum. Now this is where Edinburgh grew up. The first settlers built the fort on top of the castle rock. Houses started springing up around it. Because the glacier that hit the castle rock had split in two and cut two valleys, north and south, it left this ridge, which was the only place they could build on. They couldn't build out, so there was only one way to build, and that was up. And that is how Edinburgh came to be. Gladstone's Land, over there on the left. One of the oldest buildings in Edinburgh, dating to 1550. In 1617 it was built by Thomas Gladstone's, Burgess of Edinburgh, and converted to the way it appears nowadays. Now with this situation, as I said, they couldn't build out, so they had to build up. So there was lots and lots of tenements that sprung up at times. They sprung up to 14 stories high. Because in places, if they wanted more room, all they would do is take an existing building and build another story on the top of it. It was that simple. And of course, all classes lived together. They had no other choice but to live together. With these tenements less than 40 stories high, narrow alleys between them. To stop crime, they started having locked gates top and bottom of them, and so became known as closed entries, or closes, as we know nowadays. If you were poor, you lived down the close, down the hill of the ridge. If you were poorer still, you actually lived underground. There were underground dwellers in Edinburgh for hundreds of years. If you were rich, you maybe owned a building. So you maybe have the street level, the first or second floors. And then the craftsmen, the tradespeople, would be above them. It's known that there was once a tenement on the left, and right at the top of that, in this 14th story, there was a tailor who lived. Obviously, he wanted the top floor so he could get light with which to work. Because with all these narrow closes, all these high buildings, light was being blocked out. Not much light in old Edinburgh. So you're stuck in Edinburgh.